The USMNT just dropped their 23-man roster for the CONCACAF Nations League Final 4, and we're here to discuss our reactions to it. Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol. This is the podcast where we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian Cruz, and today I am rolling solo dolo. We'll be chatting about all the names that we've seen on this list, the things that we like, the things that we don't like, and also maybe perhaps some couple of big omissions that Mauricio Pochettino left out for the upcoming match against Panama in March 20th, and hopefully, as we want here, a final game against Mexico in the SoFi Stadium for the Nations League CONCACAF Champions Champions Cup, whatever you want to call it. Roll the intro, and we'll be back. Alrighty then, as I said, we're going to be going over the recent roster that Mauricio Pochettino put together. Now, it's somewhat funny for us because we essentially, they not long ago dropped the 60-man roster, and my tocayo and I, we made a video chatting about the 60-man roster, and we published it. We're going to publish it today, but given that Mauricio Pochettino felt that today was a good day to release the final 23-man roster for this CONCACAF CONCACAF Nations League Final 4, we decided to pull that video, and now we're doing this one. El Tocayo is traveling to Monterrey to spend some time down there, going to a concert, and so that's why I'm doing it here. You know that he is a USMNT expert, but I'll do my best to make sure that you guys feel that you're being informed and you're not getting any biased commentary from someone like me, a Selección Mexicana fan. Alrighty, so without further ado, let's start with the goalkeepers. Here we have, I think, no-brainers: Patrick Schulte from Columbus Crew, Zach Steffen from Colorado Rapids, and Matt Turner from Crystal Palace. As El Tocayo and I were discussing on the never-to-be-seen video that we posted for the 60-man roster, we said that these three were going to be perhaps the go-to options for Mauricio Pochettino. We also said that, this perhaps has to be one of the less or least competitive trio of goalkeepers that we've seen from the USMNT in a while. We grow used to seeing Tim Howard, Brad Friedel, even Bradley Guzan, Casey Keller behind or underneath the three poles for the USMNT. And this time around, unfortunately for the US, none of the goalkeepers are necessarily being super hot right now. We know that Matt Turner, he plays in the Premier League, but he rarely often plays with Crystal Palace. Patrick Schulte and Zach Steffen, they do see more minutes with their clubs, but again, they play for the MLS. And now, we don't necessarily, hate MLS, but we also understand that they are perhaps at a lower level, league-wise speaking. Now, going for the defenders. We had Cameron Carter-Vickers from Celtic, Marlon Fawzi from Standard Liège, Mark McKenzie from Toulouse. We have Tim Bream from Charlotte FC, Chris Richards, Crystal Palace, Anthony Robertson from Fulham, Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Austin Trusty from Celtic. Now, again, El Tocayo and I discussed that even though Sergiño Dest made his comeback to the pitch with PSV, it would have been a little premature to see him on this roster, even though that perhaps the USMNT does need someone with his talent on that specific flank. Unfortunately, Joe Scally, while he hasn't done a bad job on that specific side of the field, he hasn't been outstanding or stellar in any of the matches that he has been the first choice for Mauricio Pochettino. So, could this be the last call-up that we see Joe Scally being the number one choice for this position? Or can Joe Scally just, essentially have a great performance on these last two matches and make it even more difficult for Sergiño Dest to take back the spot that he left? So we'll see how it goes, but I think no surprises here. Glad to see that pretty much all the players are European based. No Miles Robinson. The only one that we see here is Tim Ream. We'll see if he starts ahead of Mark McKenzie, but we'll give you our, what we think is going to be the lineup for at least the first match against Panama. Midfielders. One thing that I do want to mention, and that I was discussing with El Tocayo also, was that this time around the USMNT is dealing with a good amount of injuries, right? Specifically to the midfielders. If I'm not mistaken, we have the injuries of Timothy Tillman, who will not, he's not getting called up right now. We also have Richard Ledesma, who is not injured. It's an omission to this roster. Apparently, Ledesma has expressed interest of playing for Mexico instead of the USMNT, and he's trying to get his Mexican passport. So that's one thing. And while, again, as I said, the USMNT is dealing with a lot of injuries, he is not necessarily injured. Pepe is another one that is a big miss here, and I'll discuss later in a minute the forwards, but Pepe is another one that is out due to injury. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's, those are the most, interesting ones so far. So on the midfield, we'll be missing Malik Tillman, not Timothy Tillman, my bad. Malik Tillman. Malik Tillman will be the one who'll be missing on this specific roster. Let me go down the list. We have Tyler Adams, who makes a, another big, not a comeback, but he's now being, I guess, called up more frequently now that he's, past that injury. He's getting more time with Bournemouth. So Tyler Adams from Bournemouth, Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis, who's having a great season, by the way. Diego Luna from Real Salt Lake. This is an interesting one. I was not expecting to see Diego Luna here. Weston McKennie from Juventus, Gio Reyna from Borussia Dortmund, Tanner Tessman from Olympique Lyon. Those are the 6 midfielders that Pochettino is bringing to the table. The fact that Diego Luna has been called up for this match, I don't think it's gonna cap lock him, in the sense that he still has one squad change if he wants to trigger that. But it goes to show that Mauricio Pochettino is expressing interest on a player like Diego Luna, who is actually quite interesting. Had a very good season last year with Real Salt Lake. He's also playing decently well right now, and he was one of the standouts of that January Camp Cupcake. So this could be a prize or a thank you for the display he had earlier this year. Now moving into the forwards, we have Patrick Aguimang from Charlotte FC, Yunus Musa from AC Milan, Christian Pulisic from AC Milan, Josh Sargent from Norwich City, Timothy Well from Juventus, and Brian White from Vancouver Whitecaps. Now, here on the forwards, as I said, we have Pepe, who's injured. Haji Wright is also injured. That's why he's not being called up. And I think that's the reason why we see the names of Brian White and Patrick Aimang as part of this 23-man roster. Again, I don't want to say that they don't deserve the call-up, because I think they do, specifically Brian White, who's been the most consistent American striker in MLS over the last year and a half or so. Can't remember the statistic that I saw, but his goal contribution with the Vancouver Whitecaps has been one of the most prolific ones for a USMNT striker outside of the European players, right? We also have Balogun, who's injured. So again, I think if those 3 players, Pepe, Haji Wright, and Balogun, were healthy or ready to perform, we would not see Patrick Aguimang and Brian White in this call-up. I also want to go back quickly to the midfielders, because I don't see Brendan Aronson, or I don't see any of the Aronson siblings here, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, they are not here. We don't have Brendan Aronson or Paxton Aronson, so it's interesting to see Diego Luna ahead of them. That is actually a quite interesting move by Mauricio Pochettino. I just realized that we don't have any of the Aronson brothers. So, wow. And another big omission. I don't know if you classify him as a midfielder or as a forward, but it's an attacking player who's been on fire for his club. He's been doing great in his local league is Alejandro or Alex Zendejas for our for American friends. Alejandro Zendejas, Alex Zendejas has been playing quite well with America, with at least I think at 9 or 10 goal contributions so far throughout the entire season. He's been an angular piece for Andre Jardín in America, and I really thought he was gonna make a breakthrough. At least I think he deserves it, in my opinion. Right, this is just my opinion, but I think he should be definitely ahead of Diego Luna in this case. Maybe even ahead of, one of the two strikers that we just see here, Patrick Ayemang or Brian White. But hey, I don't know what Mauricio Pochettino is thinking. I don't think it's a bad decision in a way, but I'm just surprised from my perspective, from my knowledge of Liga MX, right, that Alejandro Zendejas is not getting an opportunity to feature here when you have all these players injured. And when we thought he was actually on the fringe of B to A team, you know how we normally say that the USMNT has like team A, B, and C. We thought Alejandro Zendejas was on that edge between being a B player and an A player, maybe like a third string for the A team. But I guess Pochettino doesn't think the same way. So this is the roster of the 23 players that Pochettino is taking to Copa America. So not Copa America, no, to the CONCACAF Nations League. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that slipped. But yeah, this is the 23-man roster. Now, how are they going to play? So let me just quickly check what was the latest lineup that they had. The last game was against Venezuela. Let me look at. Oh yeah, I guess against Costa Rica. And the lineup was a 4-2-3-1 essentially, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check on the one before that one, and the lineup was 4-2-3-1. So if Pochettino continues with his 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1 formation, right? I think we'll see a no-brainer. Matt Turner as the starting goalkeeper, even though he doesn't get as much minutes as the other ones. I think it's still a solid choice for him. I think the back four, no-brainer. We'll see Joe Scally and Anthony Robinson on the flanks. In the middle as center backs, I think we're going to see Tim Ream and Chris Richards. One discussion point that El Tocayo and I had was why Tim Ream over Mark McKenzie, who's been playing quite well with Toulouse. And, it will be time for Tim Ream to just, take a step back and, become more of a squad player, bench player for the team, and allow Mark McKenzie, who's a younger lad, take the spot. But, the Tocayo feels that Tim Ream has the slight advantage over Mark McKenzie due to experience and just the amount of, minutes and games he has with the USMNT. Nonetheless, we would love to see Chris Richards and Mark McKenzie together, but I think we're going to see Tim Ream and Chris Richards as the couple of center backs. For the midfield, the two center midfields that we're going to see, I believe are going to be Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie, most likely. So I think it's a no-brainer. Weston McKennie and Tyler Adams, they know how to play that position. They complement each other. One of them is more defensive. The other one can go and help on the attack, but as well has some sort of box-to-box kind of ability to it. And Weston McKennie has to be a starting player because arguably he's perhaps the best player for the USMNT right now in terms of performances, maybe slightly ahead or below Christian Pulisic. But it just makes sense that they two play as the central midfielders. The question will be, who's going to be the central attacking midfielder? Will it be Gio Reyna or will it be Diego Luna? There's also the possibility of maybe seeing Johnny Cardoso with Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie as an attacking midfielder or a central attacking midfielder. But I think, actually, let me go back. I think Johnny Cardoso and Weston McKennie will be the two center midfielders. And then I believe we're going to see I'm going to throw a crazy out here, guys, but bear with me. I think Diego Luna is going to be the central attacking midfielder. I think Pochettino really likes him, so I see him taking that role. And then as far as the forward goes, we also have Yunus Musa. Jesus Lord Christ. Hold on. No. Yes. I think then we're going to see Christian Pulisic on one side and Yunus Musa on the other. Or Timothy Weah. Maybe Timothy Weah. Maybe not Yunus Musa. Yeah. Timothy Weah, Christian Pulisic, and ahead of them, Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent has been on fire with Northwood City. I don't want to hype him because every single time we hype him here, he gets the PPG curse and he gets injured. So we just really hope that he stays healthy for the next weekend ahead of his next league match. He can show up to the USMNT call-up free of injuries and ready to play. Because my God, y'all know this. I really like Josh Sargent. I think he is perhaps arguably the best striker the USMNT has right now, but he always gets injured. He's made out of paper or crystal or I guess glass, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the lineup. So Matt Turner as the striker, as the goalkeeper. Tim Ream, Chris Richards as the center backs. The left back and right back, we're going to have Anthony Robinson and Joe Scally. Midfielders, we're going to have Johnny Cardoso and Weston McKennie and Diego Luna. And then we're going to have Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah on the flanks as the wingers. And then top, Josh Sargent. And yeah, that's pretty much our reaction to the roster. Let us know in the comments below. You think there was any big omissions? Do you think Alejandro Zendejas deserved this call-up, an opportunity to prove that he has the quality to be a Team A player or a USMNT A player? What do you think of Diego Luna inclusion? Do you think it's deserved? Do you think he made a name for himself during the January Camp Cupcake? How do you think the USMNT should deal with these injuries? The lack of Pepe, Hadji Wright, and Balogun, I think is going to be a huge impact on their attacking prowess of the team. Let us know what you think. And before I say goodbye, remember that you can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes. See you around, fellas.